I like to leave the smell in there because I want to challenge the public's perception of this.
When people hear the term wearable tech, they probably think about two things: wearable gadgets and electronics. But what about the breakthroughs in production methods for the things that we've been wearing forever, like clothing? This is all wearable tech. With sustainability in mind, using both basic and advanced science to repurpose materials to create something transformative and new could be a game changer.
You know, winemaking is a complicated process. It all begins here in the vineyard. In order to make the best wine, you have to have the best grapes. The best clusters are used to make wine, and the rest of the grapes that we don't use in the industry, they say dropping fruit. They'll just go through there and cut off the ones that they're not going to use for wine and just leave it on the ground as waste.
So you guys don't do anything with that? It's just discarded?
Traditionally, it's just discarded.
Virtually all manufacturing processes result in a significant amount of waste byproduct. If we can figure out ways to convert that waste byproduct into more products that we consume and demand daily, that's going to be a fundamental step forward within the sustainability movement.
20 years ago, while I was working in a friend's winery, we come across a vat that had been contaminated by bacteria, and it had formed this creepy, slimy, sludgy material on the top of the vat.
So what made you go from seeing this, essentially it looks like skin, to creating a dress and wearable clothing out of it?
The science of it was more of a cellulose. I then realized that if it was a cotton-like material, I could use it to make dresses. So the bacteria will sit on top of the wine, and it converts that liquid wine into this material. Get the most of the moisture out of it before we'll lay it out onto some paper here, and you'll see that then it produces, certainly still a bit moist.
So the first thing I noticed was the pungent smell. Like, what is that?
It is vinegar. You smell it.
I think for me personally, I don't know if I'd want to wear something that smells like this, and maybe a lot of people have the same feelings. Is there a way to get rid of that smell?
There certainly is, yeah. The issue I have with that, of course, is that I need to use some nasty chemicals to get rid of that smell. And I think that defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do here, okay? I like to leave the smell in there because I want to challenge the public's perception of this. Are you willing to put up with that smell if you know that it's friendlier to our environment?
One of the things that I think is most exciting about the whole sustainability movement is this sort of interdependent relationship that we have between these crazy mad scientist type innovators and then just the everyday consumer. If us as individuals don't take the initiative to buy into what it is that they're doing and to really help push this as a movement forward that results in fundamental change, you know, we all have a role to play.
So we'll peel the material off and we can start to lay it on.
I mean, there's a big seam here where you laid the two pieces. Will that connect itself together, or is that something you have to stitch later?
No, certainly no stitches. So what will happen is that as it dries and shrinks, it actually adheres to itself very, very well.
Wow, just grab it.
Yep, absolutely.
That's so
there you go.
slimy.
You can play around with it quite a bit. It's quite tough.
Yeah.
Yep. Remove some of that water or that wine liquid, and on it goes.
All right, girl.
As it dries, it'll stick together.
So these seams will all go away?
Absolutely. So you formed quite a wonderful dress here, and so what we will do is leave it for a couple of days to dry. Once it's dried, we'd remove it from the mannequin, and we would form something like this.
I mean, it feels like a really thick leather.
So, Justine, what I'd like to do is for you to put the dress on so that you can get the full experience of what it's like to wear a fermented fashion. Justine, that looks fantastic. Now, how does it feel?
It feels pretty good. It's definitely a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's a little damp and there's definitely a smell, but I think that's something that you guys are working on.
Certainly, over the next couple of years, we'll fix that.
Fermenting culture into couture has the potential to turn the fashion world on its head. But more importantly, future innovations resulting from Gary Cass's ingenuity might prove to be more than just a stitch in time. The human body creates millions of points of data every single day. But today, capturing these data points can be as simple as putting on a smart bra or even just wearing a bracelet.